Hey everybody, welcome back to Corn, Beef, and Chicken, Part 3. This is chicken. Let's talk about chickens. How many we produce, how many we eat, what we've done to them. So on your screen, or in your spreadsheet, you just need to scroll down to Part 3. So right above here is what we did for beef, and above that is what we did for corn. I have a picture of what's called a broiler chicken right there. And the broiler chicken, they are they've been altered genetically in order to have larger features, meat portions on their bodies, so that we can have bigger chicken wings and that stuff like that. But they're not supposed to look like that. Like a chicken, that's a ginormous chicken right there. It's like the Incredible Hulk of chickens, and we mass produce them in this way. Like I said, genetically modified the chicken to be this way so that we can have more meat. But the problem with that is they can't actually stand up. They're so large and top heavy that their legs can't support the weight. So they're in these massive, like little, what do you call them? Huts, chicken coops, very large, and just stacked on top of each other. And it's not fun to look at. Now, not everybody does it that way, but a high percentage of chicken is raised in that way, and it's not great, but it's one way to produce a lot of chicken at a cheap cost, so that it's affordable to everybody. So there's a give and take, like what we do to the animal and how we raise it is going to affect, prices and things like that. So let's look at how much chicken we're eating per year. My data is just a little bit old. I think it goes from like 2015 on, or up to 2015. So I don't have the most current years, but this is about the year 2015, the number of chickens that were raised per state. We've got Georgia coming in number one at 1.3. Now that's not million. See, this is times 1,000. So that's 1.3 billion billion chickens. Alabama 1.1 billion, and so on. Let's go ahead and take the mean of these states here. Looks like we've got the 60 all the way down to, so this is the top 20, okay, equals average. And now this should just be second nature to you. Enter. Looks like the average is 399 million chickens, or about 400 million chickens. Okay, remember that's times 1,000. Standard deviation of the same set. This is a sample because it's only 20 out of the 50 states in the country. So STDEV, sample, highlight, enter. What is that? 377 million. I know that says 1,000, but of course times 1,000. Okay, let's just go ahead and you can just copy and paste that cell right into the mean if you want. Sorry, the mean. So you can go Control C and Control V instead of retyping it. That works. Or not. You made a liar out of me. Why don't you like me? I don't know. I was going to go ahead and type it then. Didn't divide by zero error. I did not divide by zero. You divided by zero. 399880. Put that there. Hopefully you remember what to do from here. You're going to add the standard deviation. So this equals, make sure you start with an equal sign, this cell plus, I'll click on my standard deviation cell now. Take that to the right. Nope, having all kinds of issues. I hope you remember what to do now. Right, start over. Hopefully you remember what to do now. We're going to take this cell, that's going to be equal to the previous cell plus the standard deviation of 377,613. We'll just go ahead and round it to the nearest whole number there. Take that to the right a couple times. Go gonk. Okay. And now we're going to subtract it going the other direction. So it equals the mean minus 377,613. And take it to the left a couple times. Okay, there's our spread of standard deviation for chicken. All right, just move down a little bit now. Let's talk about any outliers that we see. Remember, beyond 2, maybe, borderline, beyond 3, almost without a doubt. Beyond 2 sigma, you're looking at 1.15 billion chickens raised, and Georgia is beyond that. Alabama is close. They're just under 2 sigma. So Georgia is getting there, but they're not beyond 3. Okay, so notice, hello, move, thank you. It'd be 1.5 billion to move beyond 3, and they're at 1.3. So they're just in the middle of 2 and 3 sigma. So Georgia, question mark. I know what I would go with there. Probably not. But man, that's a lot of chicken just for one state to produce. I never knew that Georgia was the state that produced that much chicken. It's crazy. Okay. Now that we've talked about all 3 areas, corn, beef, and chicken, we're just going to look at a whole, top-down view of all animals produced. I know this is not corn, but we got cattle, chickens, ducks, hogs, sheep and lambs, turkeys, the whole deal. And it's just amazing to me how much of these animals are chickens. Okay, first of all. So in the United States, it's like 8.5 billion chickens out of 9.2 billion animals. It's like, whoa, just most of it is chicken. Okay, but now of course they're smaller. So like the cow, much larger. You're not going to have 8 billion cows. That would just be crazy. But anyway, it's amazing. It's amazing how efficient the process is, how cheap the food is, but also the errors that have been made in like the treatment of the animals. So there's just a lot going on here, and it's worth looking into. So usually when we're in class, I just show a couple clips of this documentary called Food Inc., where they explore where the food comes from. They just want you to know where the food, how it gets from farm to market, and what that process looks like. So if we were in class together, we'd be looking at 10, 15, 20 minutes of that documentary and just having a nice little discussion about where food comes from. But since we can't do that, and I don't think I'm going to take the time this week to actually show it to you, I'm just going to ask you this question. It says, before we watch Food Inc., what are your current feelings about the food you eat? Have you thought about these things already? Is this new to you? Like how many animals that we're eating, where the food comes from, how it's mass produced, that chicken that you just saw there, like did you know that chickens were genetically modified? Uh, is this new information? And question number 2, this is the last thing you have to do for me today, is do you feel like you eat healthy? Is that something that you've grown accustomed to, that you've asked your parents to look into? Like, can we eat healthier food? It's expensive to eat healthy though. Like it really is. It takes. Some people might think that's a myth, but you want to buy the organics. You want to buy certain things. It's gonna probably cost a little bit more in order to do that. But if we were to substitute chips, which I just bought chips at the store, like $1.50 a bag, and you want to buy a bag of carrots, it's roughly the same. You could probably substitute a lot of the stuff that you're eating with fruits and vegetables and healthier options. We just choose not to do so, or we convince ourselves that we can't. So it's a good discussion to have. Okay, I don't want to stir anything up or create any animosity between you and your parents or anybody else. I just want to have the discussion for you as a consumer, because you vote with your dollars. When you go to the supermarket, you're voting. Every time you buy something, you say, I support this. I support these kinds of bananas. I support these kinds of chickens. And you vote with your dollars. And the more people that do that are educated about what they buy, that's the kind of stuff you're going to see show up in the supermarket. And for me, I'd like to see more locally grown, locally sourced food in my market. Just continue to have that spring up. And the only way for that to happen is for me to support it. And for me, it's going to cost more money early on. But if we all join in and do it together, the prices will come down. Okay, please answer those 2 questions. I'll see you guys tomorrow in this little space right here. Okay? But you guys have yourself a great Monday.
Dude, that's tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Want to try that again? How did you get the couch again? Man, I've had the couch since like last Wednesday. It's just gonna keep happening. Okay? Just get used to it. When we do the Star Wars with the lightsaber, go like this. Only like this. Here? Oh, you hear that? doing? Lightsaber! Hold on! What? I don't even want the couch anymore. I don't even want it anymore. Yeah. I still take it to the curb. Alright. Alright, well that's fun. Okay.